So the pistol is familiar to some of you and unfamiliar to others. This is brand new to me. I don't know much about it, and when I bought it, it was actually, well, it had some issues. It still has some issues, but I started reading up on some of them, and I think that I could do a video just to help other owners of this pistol figure out why they're having issues with it, if they are having similar issues. So when I bought this, I was actually able to kind of talk with the store salespeople and lower the price a little bit because there were obvious issues with the pistol. I'll show you first that it's not loaded. Okay, completely empty. That's one of the issues right there. You see how the safety, grip safety, just got stuck in there inside? It's not coming out anymore. It's not actually active, as in it's on all the time, so it does not disengage, right? So the gun can be fired, you know, all the time without even touching the grip safety. You see that? Okay. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is that this is a decocker. Okay, it does two things. I'm going to try to show you so that you can see. When you depress it, it moves the firing pin back. You can see the firing pin going away and hiding in the channel. Okay, and the other thing it's supposed to do is decock the hammer. Okay. And it can be done on this pistol. If I depress really hard, okay, it will decock. However, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be much lighter. So I wanted to explain what these two issues are, or what I found my reasons for them to be. And in order to do this, I'm going to have to disassemble the pistol. So a field strip is enough for this, with maybe removal of grips. Okay, so for a complete disassembly video, you can see my other video, but right now it's just a simple disassembly field strip. Okay. Okay, so issue number one, the reason why the pistol doesn't decock when you depress that lever. Notice what happens on the inside here when I lower the lever. Right now I'm pushing it up because it's upside down. Okay, you see this little tab coming up. Okay, and that tab is supposed to press down on this trigger bar, or this disconnector rather. Okay, that's right here under the ejector. Okay, it's supposed to press it down. I'll show you here if I can do it with this roll pin punch. Hold on, there you go. Okay, you saw that, right? So when it presses down, and notice how this just popped out simply because of the I guess the vibration when the hammer struck. Okay, so this tab is supposed to press on that, and it needs to be pressed in pretty deep, okay, for it to activate the sear. But if you notice, even in its up position, this tab is much lower than it needs to be. Okay, and the reason for that is because it was filed down at some point, because someone thought that the firing pin wasn't moved back enough when the hammer dropped. It needs to be one smooth motion, basically, the firing pin moving back and hammer dropping when it's all the way back. Because I guess previous owner, or maybe the armorer, thought that the firing pin was still protruding too far when the hammer struck. What they did was they filed this down so that the hammer drops much later, after the firing pin has moved back, okay, moved in. But what they've done is they've made this tab much shorter, and that's why it's so much more difficult to now depress this far back, far down as it needs to go to deactivate sear. Okay, so that's issue number one. Issue number two is this grip safety sticking past the mainspring housing. Okay, and for that I need to take off the grips. Okay, there's one. I'm just going to put the screws back in so I don't mistake them. Okay, so issue number two, this issue, is pretty simple too. Okay, so you saw the pin just almost wanted to drop out on its own, and it kind of moved down, simply because the hammer is currently not placing any, wasn't placing any tension on the mainspring housing. Now that I've tried to move it back slightly, it moved the housing out a little bit, okay? And you can see these tabs on the grip safety, okay? These tabs are supposed to be working, I'm just going to take it out, inside this channel, okay, in the mainspring housing. Sometimes the tabs will simply slide out of the channel, okay, kind of in that fashion. They'll just kind of get stuck, okay, up here, and it's going to create a situation like that, okay, and they will not want to come down again. And I don't know how to fix this. I'm going to research a little bit. I did find a mainspring housing that had a hole drilled slightly lower, which means that I would have to push it up a little bit more, which also means that there's not going to be as much of a gap between the grip safety and the mainspring housing, which means that it's not going to jump out ever, okay? And I think that might be something that I may need to entertain, basically. Maybe I'll just reposition the hole a little bit, okay? But I don't know if I'll be able to do that without doing something significant to the frame and the housing, okay? So anyway, those are the two issues that this pistol has, and the explanation behind them. And my other video that's going to be posted today probably, or maybe tomorrow, will be on complete disassembly of this pistol. So stay tuned, come back and watch that one too, okay? Thank you for watching this one.